Hello, listeners and viewers. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Guys, FPL is back. This is the time that we should be putting our drafts together, getting ready for this all-important first game week of the season. I'm absolutely thrilled about it because I love playing this game. I have been a regular FPL manager for the last 10 years. I manage my own fantasy league, and I can confidently say that if you watch along and subscribe to my channel, I'm gonna make sure I give you all the insights and advice that you need to top your mini leagues. In this video today, guys, we're gonna be discussing all the different categories: forwards, midfielders, defenders, and the goalkeepers. I'm gonna give you my top 3 picks from each category, and I'll highly advise that if not all, make sure you have most of these people in your first draft to have a great start of the season. So without further ado, let's get straight into it, and we'll start off with the forwards first. So my number 3 pick for the forwards section would be Ollie Watkins. Now guys, he's the highest scoring forward from last FPL season. He scored goals for fun. He's playing for a very decent Aston Villa side. He's an all-action striker. He's always amongst the goals. And to add to all of this, he might also be on penalties this season. Now, until last season, David Luiz was taking all the set pieces and penalties, but now he's gone to Juventus, which has left the door open for Ollie Watkins to step up and take the penalties as well. There's no guarantee of this happening because there are other options available. Maybe Tillemans or someone like McGinn or someone else can be the first choice penalty taker next season, but I'd put my money on Watkins to be the man. Now, there are other options that I could have gone for. For example, Wood from Nottingham Forest is very reliable, experienced striker, gets a lot of minutes, sometimes takes penalties as well, dangerous from set pieces. So he will be in and amongst the goals, to say the least, for Nottingham Forest. So he can be considered. Stuart Armstrong is another one from Southampton, coming off the back of a great season in the Championship where he scored lots of goals. Dominic Solanke is the talisman from Bournemouth. He can be considered as well. He also had a great season last time round. Or you can also go for Pedro from Brighton. He's the penalty taker, but he seems to be struggling with injuries at the time. So just be mindful of that. However, I've gone for Ollie Watkins. The only deterrent with Ollie Watkins, which is why I haven't put him in the great signings or must-have section, is his price tag. Now, 9 million for Ollie Watkins, I would say, is a little bit on the higher end. So let's see if he's able to justify that price tag or not. But I think that at least at the start of the season, we should be going in with him for the first 5 game weeks, and then when the Champions League games start kicking in from game week 5, then we can potentially think about moving him on. Now let's talk about a great signing in the forward section, and that for me is none other than the Norwegian beast Erling Haaland. Guys, some of you might be surprised that I've put him in the great signings category and not the must-have. The only reason for that is his price tag. He is now a 15 million man, and that is probably the highest ever price tag for any player in this game. So it comes with a big risk. Spending that sort of amount on one player means that you have to compromise in a lot of other areas. If you go without Haaland, then you can select the likes of Salah or Son or Palmer or Saka. But with Haaland in your draft, you have to basically go without all of them. I personally will start off with Haaland because, I can't stress enough that, this guy has the potential of scoring hat-tricks game in, game out against even the very decent sides. And then once that happens, everyone seems to sort of jump onto him. And by then the price, just gets out of hand, especially when you start without him. Then in order to bring him in, you need at least 2 or 3 transfers. So you have to basically compromise on a lot of things. So it's always good to go with him at the start. If it doesn't work out, that's fine, just sell him, bring whoever you want, right? So that's the way of it. The bookies have put him as the favorite to again top the goal scoring charts. They've put him in to score 27 goals this season. So, he's odds on favorite to give us a lot of points from that forwards category. I will be definitely going in with Haaland at the start of the season. The must-have forward for me would be Alexander Isak. Now, Isak is coming off the back of a great season for Newcastle. He's cemented his place as the first choice striker ahead of Wilson. He's playing for a very attacking Newcastle side. Now, he is getting service from the likes of Gordon, Almiron, Joelinton, Bruno Gomes, Willock, you name it. Like, they all are targeting this one front man, Alexander Isak, for the Newcastle's goal scoring. And this guy is a quality forward. He's got everything needed for a striker in the Premier League. He has a great first touch. He gets into great scoring positions. He can run at defenders. He's got the height and physical abilities to match any defender in the Premier League. And he is just one of those strikers who's always there at the right time to, apply the finishing touches. So basically, with the 8 million or 8.5 million price tag that's put on him, which is, I think, very, very reasonable, and I'm pretty sure he will make this look very, very small. There is absolutely no reason to go without this guy. He is going to be my number one pick in the forward section. Let's move on to the midfielders now. Now, this is an area where we're absolutely spoiled for choice. Guys, as I mentioned already, if you don't go with Haaland, you can go with all the big hitters. But if you do go with Haaland, then you will have to compromise on pretty much all of them. So in this section here, I'm going to select a few players which fit into both drafts, with Haaland or without Haaland. And they are very, very decent players, so they can return on any day. With the number third choice, or a good signing, I would say there are a few players here. The competition is tough. There is Garnacho from Manchester United. Had a great season last time around. Is going to be the first choice winger for Manchester United this season. However, there are a number of other options available, with Ahmad coming to the fore, with Sancho returning to Manchester United. I think they are going to steal some minutes away from Garnacho. And Manchester United as a whole do not score too many goals as well. So for this reason, I think I will not go with Garnacho. The other person I gave serious consideration to was Anthony Gordon. He's available for 7.5 million, which is, I think, a very decent price for him after the season that he's had. He was the ever reliable, the ever present winger for Newcastle, especially for their home games. He was always in and amongst the goals, providing assists. He was part of every single attack. So you can't really complain that this guy will score a lot of goals and be amongst the points this season as well. The only reason now I'm not going with him is because Harvey Barnes is back fit, and he's going to basically steal some minutes from Gordon potentially. So at this moment of time, I'm not too confident that he'll have the same impact that he had last season. I'm not doubting his abilities. He's a great signing for Newcastle. He's an absolutely brilliant player. But I think with the other options that we've got in this category, I think he doesn't make it into my top 3. So the one that I have selected as the number 3 in midfielders is Bailey. And this guy was really, really good towards the latter half of last season for Aston Villa. Towards the start of the season, the manager did prefer to go with Diaby, but as the season moved on, Bailey cemented his place. He ended up playing about 22 times in the league last season for Aston Villa. His outlying numbers are absolutely brilliant, whether you talk about his attacking stats, his touches in the box, his shots on goal. Everything seems to be ticking along, and I think this season, with Diaby moving to the Saudi Pro League, he will be the first choice attacker for Aston Villa, and he will play a lot of minutes. And alongside Watkins, I can see him doing a lot of damage for this Aston Villa side. So I will pick him into my first draft. Then moving on, in the great section signings option, I would select a player that many people will not maybe go with, and that is Nkunku. So our football fans have a small memory. They would just look at the last season and basically make their judgments based on that. So don't forget, guys, Nkunku came with a huge reputation but got injured in the preseason last time, so he couldn't really get any minutes. Palmer stepped up and took all the limelight, and nobody seems to remember about Nkunku, but he has got his injury issues behind him. He's looking fitter now. He's playing regularly in the preseason. I see him as the first choice attacker for Chelsea this season. And guys, if you look at his price tag, it's very reasonable, 7.5 million compared to 10.5 for Palmer. And considering the fact that Nkunku is going to play further ahead of Palmer, just seems to be a no-brainer for me. He's going to benefit off the service that Palmer will provide to him. He is a natural goal scorer. His finishing is sublime. He basically can assist, can provide, can score goals himself. He is a modern day attacker. He's versatile, can play multiple positions. I see this as a big season for Nkunku to prove his doubters wrong, and that is the reason why I've put him in the great signings section. For me, he's also a differential, and I personally love to go for differentials because that just gives you an impetus on your rivals, and then by the time everyone realizes the importance and they start jumping along, you've already made the gains, and that is what I'm looking to do with Nkunku. The number one midfielder that I think should be in everyone's team is Eze. Eze from Crystal Palace. Now, this is a guy who I think deserves to play for a better side in the Premier League. He's got all the attributes of a modern day attacker. He can play in the midfield, but this season I think he's going to play in that attacking number 10 role for Crystal Palace. He is nailed on for all the set pieces and the penalties, and he's just got that quality about him. I see him scoring a lot of goals this season and providing assists. I think he's if you just see the avenues that he can explore to get the points, free kicks, penalties, attacking positions, assists, goals, touches, he's got everything. It's a shame that England did not utilize him enough in the Euros, but I think Crystal Palace will have him as their talisman if unless he just decides to move on to someone else, because there are rumors going around. But as it stands, if he stays at Crystal Palace, I'll definitely have him as my first choice midfielder, especially with the price tag that he's available for. Now, moving on to the defenders, guys. Now it's a tricky one. There are some very, very decent defenders available for a very low price. You can talk about 4 million, 4.5 million, or you can, pay the surplus amount and go for someone really attacking. Now, this season, keep in mind the rules have changed, so there will be extra bonus point deduction if the defenders concede goals, which just decreases the appeal of defenders who rely on clean sheets for points, such as Saliba or Gabriel. They had lots of clean sheets last time around, so even if they did not get many attacking returns, they would still be amongst the bonus points, get clean sheet points, and end up scoring a lot of points for you. So their importance has sort of decreased this season, and I would like to go for attacking defenders who are in that attacking zone, always trying to assist, always trying to get into dangerous positions. So my number 3 choice in this section would be Pedro Porro. Now, this is a tricky one. Tottenham do not keep any or many clean sheets, and I think this will continue. Their defense is not solid. They do concede, but Pedro Porro is a player at the top of his game at the moment. He's very attack minded. He's always looking to contribute in the attack. He's also on set pieces as well, takes a lot of corners and free kicks as well, especially when Maddison is not playing. So I think that even if Spurs do not get many clean sheets, he will still provide that attacking return on and off, and this is why I have put him in the good signings category. In the great signings options, I will go for Alexander-Arnold. Now, he's one of my favorite defenders in FPL, like many of you, because his attacking numbers are just insane. He's got a wand of a right foot. He provides that great cross from pretty much any part of the field to his attackers. He's always in there. When it comes to providing assists, he takes the corners. He's absolutely brilliant on the free kicks. And with a new manager now coming in, I don't know what his plans are going to be. Maybe he'll play Arnold in midfield, which further increases his appeal. The only reason I've put him as my number 2 in this section is because of his price tag, which is insane. 7.5 million. I think is a bit too much. Now you can go for very, very decent defenders like maybe Robertson or Van Dijk or maybe Gabriel, or there are so many other options that you can go for a relatively cheaper price. And if you manage to save 1 million, 1.5 million on this place, that goes a long way. So the choice is yours. But personally, considering the fact that Liverpool have some good fixtures at the start of the season, barring the Manchester United away game in game week 2, I think we should go in with Arnold, see how it goes for at least the first few game weeks, and then see if he's a long-term hold or not. Moving on to my number 1 pick in the defenders category, that will be none other than Josko Gvardiol. So guys, you saw the impact that Gvardiol had towards the last half of the previous season. He basically handedly cost me my mini league because I chose to go without him. I'm not gonna make that mistake again. He is too good for this price tag. 6 million for a Manchester City nailed on attacking defender is peanuts, guys. This guy should be in every single one of your teams. Pep Guardiola utilizes him in a way where he is sort of an inverted midfielder. He gets shots, he gets assists, and he is big for the bonus points as well. I think that at least at the start of the season, everyone should have Guardiola in their teams. So moving on to the last section, which is the goalkeepers. Now in the good signings category, I'm gonna again go with a differential, which is Nick Pope. So Nick Pope, guys, was injured for pretty much all of last season. So again, he's one of the names like Nkunku, which people are not considering, but he is a very, very decent option because if Newcastle defenders are all fit, so I'm talking about Burn, Botman, Shah, all being fit, Newcastle becomes a very, very strong defense. And we saw that in a couple of years ago when Newcastle were refusing to concede any goals, and this guy benefited from that, watertight defense ahead of him. So I think he'll be looking forward to cementing his place as the number 1 goalkeeper for Newcastle, and he will be sort of a differential that we can potentially look at the start of the season. Moving on to the great signings option in goalkeepers, I would put Robert Sanchez from Chelsea in this category. Now guys, he has been touted as the new number 1 for Chelsea, and he's available for 4.5 million. Now if you look at the 4 million options in goalkeepers, you pretty much have nobody that will start regularly or start at all. So 4.5 is the minimum that you need to spend on a goalkeeper if you want to play goalkeepers. And if you get a Chelsea goalkeeper in this price, that's gold. So if I go by the rumors, I think Chelsea are signing Jorgensen or whatever his name is as a backup goalkeeper, and Robert Sanchez is going to start as their number 1 this year. He's also starting in the preseason at the moment. So this is a wait and see. If we get any further news, we might have to change our plans accordingly. But if it stays as it is and Robert Sanchez is going to start in the goal for Chelsea as the number 1, we have a great backup option, which is himself, to go in our teams. And with him, we need one other goalkeeper who will be my number 1 pick in this section, and that is none other than David Raya. So we cannot go in without the Arsenal defense, right? And I haven't put any defenders from Arsenal in my playing 11, so I have to cover that with David Raya. Again, he's playing behind a very, very solid back line, which already had the likes of White and Saliba and Gabriel. Now add to the mix Jurien Timber, who is back fit, and Calafiori, the upcoming star from Italy. So, with such a good defense ahead of him, there's no question that Arsenal are yet again going to keep heaps of clean sheets and we're going to be benefiting from all of those clean sheets in the form of David Raya, who will be my number one goalkeeper choice. So guys, please tell me in the comment section if you agree with my recommendations, or if you have someone else in mind who can potentially be a better choice than what I've mentioned. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to my channel and press that bell icon so you get notified whenever I post a video. Until next time, ciao.